Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Logical Nonsense Podcast. Today we have NBA playoff predictions with Doug and Cade. Yes, sir. We are back. We are back. Your favorite trio of sports knowledge. You know, we always bring the best brackets. Our March Madness bracket was definitely in the top 10 in the country. You know, we're out here. People are looking to us to get all the correct picks. We always make the best decisions and the best takes. But no, we're excited. You know, we just watched Zion go harder than he did with that porn star, and now we're but he still lost, so he will be playing the winner of the Kings Warriors tonight. So, boys, excited to have you on. How are we feeling about the NBA playoffs?
Hot start, right? Close game.
Yes, sir.
Exactly. Always a good time. And especially when your first game starts like that, you know it's going to be a good postseason.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Playing is always interesting to watch to see who can actually get in the playoffs, and then once we get there, we got some crazy first round matchups that we're gonna get into. So first, let's start with the play-in games. Let's start with this Pelicans Lakers game. We just are recording this just right after the game, and Kings Warriors are now playing. But Pelicans versus the Lakers. Pelicans came back. They were down by quite a bit. Zion put on a hell of a performance. I think he put up almost. Did he put up 40? Did he get to 40? Okay, so he got to 40, and I mean, he was balling the fuck out. Like, he was tired. Big boy hadn't worked like that since for a long time. And yeah, what did you think of the game, boys?
Thought it was a pretty good game overall. Pelicans went out to a hot lead early. Looked like they were controlling it. Then the Lakers at the end of the second quarter went up by 10 going into half. And then through the third and fourth, it was kind of back and forth until that late run by the Pelicans. And then, end of the game, Zion's putting in the work, comes down on his foot, a little awkward. He was limping the whole game and has to leave the game, visibly frustrated.
Yeah,
you could say that cost the Pelicans in a way. I mean, you don't know how it would have ended, but he was on a mission there to end it, and they really couldn't get anything going. I was really confused at the end of the game why Ingram was not in the game like the whole fourth quarter. Like, he looked higher than a kite on the sideline, I'll be completely honest, but he's your star player, one of them, and he's not getting any minutes there, which was confusing.
I thought it was strange too, because they had a weird lineup. They had Alvarado in, like McCollum wasn't even in that much either. Like, it was literally like Alvarado, Larry Nance. Like, it was just a weird lineup. So there was some weird decisions being made there. But I do wonder, Cade, if Zion's in, do you think the Pelicans pull that comeback off? Like, if he doesn't get hurt?
I think so.
That momentum was crazy when he was in there.
It was there. They're playing good on both ends of the floor. They were limiting Anthony Davis too. As soon as he went out, Anthony Davis was able to get huge rebounds, big layups, made his free throws. It also did the Pelicans throw to avoid the Nuggets there at the end? Question mark.
I was thinking about that actually. We're gonna get into it in a second. I think low key, like, don't get me wrong, I really like this Thunder team, but if I'm the Lakers or the Pelicans, I almost would rather have the Thunder than the Nuggets, just because the Nuggets have been there before. They have the experience. Jokic. Thunder, they're more young, they're more inexperienced. Don't get me wrong, like, I'm not discounting this Thunder team, but if I got to choose between the Thunder and the Nuggets, I think I'd rather play the Thunder.
I agree with that. Although I definitely don't think that there was any game being thrown. You play to win and make sure that you're in, right?
No, absolutely.
Because you lose this one and you're not guaranteed that that final slot. The one thing that I could understand why Ingram and McCollum weren't in the game there at the end, because, and Hunter and I were talking about this, just because they were not having good games. Obviously, it's something that you wrestle with probably as a coach. Usually you probably ride your star players through thick and thin.
Yeah.
But, I can understand the decision of wanting to play with the hot guys, right? And McCollum 1 for 9 behind the arc in that game. Brandon Ingram 4 for 12 from the field, especially. I can understand the reasoning behind it, but
yeah, definitely. Definitely. I think this creates for an interesting matchup with the Lakers and the Nuggets, though, now. I mean, honestly, especially towards the end there, LeBron didn't look great in the end of the game there. He was really getting beat defensively against, like, Zion was just all over him, like, really kind of exposing. Like, it was the first time where I saw LeBron and I thought, wow, this guy might be getting old. Like, I know, like, it's, don't get me wrong, he's like, what, 40? But, like, this is one of the first times where I was like, wow, you might be getting old finally. So let's go to our other playing games. We got Pelicans will play the winner of the Kings and the Warriors. Who do you think will win that matchup?
Right
All right,
now,
we'll
Kings
vote. We'll vote.
Warriors, or
Okay.
we're talking
Yeah.
about
We got Kings
Pels?
Warriors. Who do you think will win
Yeah.
this? I mean, we got like special access right now, right? What's the score?
25-15. Kings are up right now in the first.
I'll go with the Warriors. I'll say that Steph gets hot here late, because obviously he hasn't got hot to start the game. But no, I'll say the Warriors. Yeah, they have the veteran presence, and maybe they find a way to win game one, similar to the Lakers just finding a way to get it up. And obviously, I don't think the games are necessarily similar between the two, because they're different styles of teams. Yeah. But I do think that the Warriors probably beat the Kings in this game. Yeah. But I mean, they're down 10 right now in the first quarter, so it's not looking hot.
I think the Kings are the better team, but until I watch the Warriors finally lose and the dynasty finally end, I'm going to go with the Warriors because Steph still has magic, as we saw later towards the end of the season. I'll go with the Warriors, even though they're down early. I think they'll pull it back in and win this game.
All right. So we got 2 Warriors, so my opinion does not matter. I think I would have probably gone with the Kings just because I don't believe in this team this year finally. I just think there's so much disconnect with the chemistry. And I think it's hard to root against this team because, like you said, Cade, like they've been a dynasty for so long. But I just this has felt like the most disconnected team chemistry that I've seen off this team. So I'm gonna go with the Kings, but doesn't matter. We still pick the Warriors. So Warriors, Pelicans as a whole. Who we picking?
Go with the Pelicans here. I think they are. Even though I just said the Warriors, like I'll go with them until they lose. I think the Pelicans are a better team. Hopefully Zion's back, especially if Zion's back. I just think talent-wise, youth-wise, they're the better team overall.
Well, I also think like it's tough to think that Ingram and McCollum are going to have 2 bad games in a row. I mean, they're very consistent, very reliable guys. And so I can't see them having 2 bad games in a row. And I think they're going to step up to the plate. So even if Zion's out, I still will go with the Pelicans as well. Doug, who would you have gone with?
Yeah, I would have gone with the Pelicans too, especially if Zion's there, just because I mean he went absolutely off, and like we were talking about, do we think McCollum's going to go 1 for 9 behind the arc again? I don't see that happening. So
yeah, I agree. So let's go to the East. We've got Sixers Heat as our first play-in game tomorrow. This is going to be an interesting one. What do we think, boys?
Just think the Sixers right now, especially with Embiid back, are just there's more talented. And I know it's playoff Jimmy time, but I think the Sixers will win this first game. I think they're way better than a 7 seed, but the injury bug really caught them. And Embiid's been playing good since he's got back, so I think they'll win and secure the 7.
Yeah, I think both teams are better than their seeding, right? So it's kind of unfortunate that they're in this situation. Obviously, the Sixers, are hotter than the Heat, but yeah, I'll go with the Sixers. I don't know. I think Bam could give Embiid a little bit more trouble than Embiid's had.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be a good game to watch. So I don't think it's gonna be a blowout in any regard. But I'll go Sixers.
Okay. I probably would have gone Heat there, which is like very stereotypical answer, right? Especially with how they've been playing the last 2 or 3 4 years in the playoffs. But I do think there's something to be said. They've always been a playoff team. It's something they obviously focus on as a team, ramp it up in the playoffs. And I think Jimmy obviously has a different mindset in the playoffs. And similar to the Warriors, right? Until I see it not work, I'm not going to root against it. So that's who I would have gone with. So going to our next matchup well, I guess we'll have to go with Bulls Hawks first, but I don't see either of them moving on. But anyways, I will be picking the Heat in the future, just so you all know. But first, we'll go to Bulls Hawks. What do we think of this? I mean, this is in my opinion, this is a crapshoot of a play-in game.
Yeah. This is kind of what you don't want to see for a playing game. How the playing game's made for teams that are over 500 that just barely missed out, like in the West where it's super competitive. Here it's just teams that just got in because it's there. I like DeRozan for the Bulls. He has had a solid year. Kobe White's put up almost an all-star type season. I think the Hawks, when they're hot, play better than the Bulls. So I'm going to go with the Hawks here. DeJounte Murray's been playing decently well the last couple of weeks. It doesn't matter, but I think the Hawks win.
Little icy tray. Doug?
Well, I'm not going to go with the Hawks because they have been playing atrocious. And so I'm going to go with the Bulls. They have an interior game that the Hawks don't really have with Vucevic. So that's going to be my take. Bulls.
Yeah,
I don't think either of these teams move on. But
I don't know. I could go either way with this. Like, I won't be surprised by the result of this game, no matter really what happens, if I'm going to be honest. I think it really is just who shows up. And who knows? Maybe this is a good game, boys. Maybe the two shitty teams will make out for a good game. We always see that from time to time. So, I don't know. My heart's leaning Bulls, but it's also Chicago. So, I'll go with the Atlanta Hawks. It's a very Hawks thing to do to win a play-in game. So, I'll go Hawks.
6 straight.
And then, what's up?
After
man, they'll pull it.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly. You're bound. Like, what do they say? After they bet 6 red, you got to bet 1 black, right? Like at the roulette table. So I'll go with the Hawks. Hawks moving on. They're playing the Heat. Does anybody think the Heat is going to lose to the Hawks? That's the only answer I need to know. We can move on. No. Okay. Perfect. Thank you, boys. Glad we didn't need to have that conversation. Now we can go to our NBA Pick'em Bracket Challenge. So here is our layout. This is a real thing. Didn't know this was a thing, but the NBA does have a Pick'em Bracket Challenge. So our first game will be the Thunder versus the Pelicans based off of what we chose. Interesting matchup, actually, especially considering the Pelicans were in that 5 slot for a lot of the season, actually. I don't know. What do you guys think here? Oh, and we also have to determine the amount of games. So whoever we pick, we gotta
how
pick
far it goes?
Yeah.
Well, first I want to say congrats to the Thunder for getting the 1 seed. I think
Oh,
that's
absolutely.
awesome for them after their rebuild the last couple years.
Yep.
And big shout out to myself for calling that when we decided that they
did.
clinched the 1.
You did, man.
They wanted it more. I love this Thunder team. They're hungry. I think the Pels will give them a couple games early in the series, like make it close, competitive. Zion's healthy, and they get to this spot. But I think the Thunder are more like a 6 here.
Yeah,
I think they'll be nervous. They're young. They're nervous. Their first 2. Once they get 1 under their belts, they'll start rolling.
I got Thunder in 6 as well. I just think they're a good team, and the thing I like about this team is they have a lot of depth, and teams with depth in the playoffs just do well. When you have guys that can come off the bench and produce for you is really good. SGA is playing out of his mind, and like you said, Cade, they just want it right now. You can just see it in the way they play. They play hard. Yeah, and I think they're going to drop a few games to the Pelicans team. This Pelicans team is better than I think some people are giving them credit for too. So I'll go Thunder in 6. Dodge, what would you have gone?
I would have gone Thunder in 5 or 6. I do think that the Pelicans will be able to give them a good run, even though I said 5 or 6, which would mean that the Pels only win 1 game. I do think that most games will be close. These are 2 younger teams, right? Obviously, the Thunder a lot younger. The Pels I would still consider somewhat young. They're not old, but
Yeah, I agree. All right, going to probably one of the more interesting matchups in the first round. Clippers, Mavs. The Mavs, and especially Luka, been playing out of their fucking mind lately. Luka's just, I don't know, I swear he puts up a 38-point triple-double every time I look at my freaking stats for the night, right? When I'm going to bed and looking at ESPN scores, like, what the fuck is happening over there? But on the other side, I mean, Clippers, beginning of the year, they were really hot. They settled down a little bit, maybe kicked it in a little gear towards the end there. Where are we feeling on this game? This one's tough for me.
I know, same, because I think overall the Clippers are more talented across the board, but I think the Mavs stars are playing better than the Clippers stars this season. Luka, Kyrie's been playing unbelievable.
Yeah, Kyrie underrated this year.
Yeah, no one really talks about it that much. And another thing to note, I think, is now they're in the playoffs, defense teams actually start to play it. And the Clippers have Kawhi and a couple other defensive stars. Are they going to be able to slow down Luka? I don't know at the pace he's playing. I think he should be a front runner for MVP personally, but since they're a 5 seed, he's getting slept on a little bit, even though they have more wins than when Jokic won MVP. I think it goes to 7, and my heart's just leaning Mavericks. I think this is the year Luka gets something going, a little momentum. So I'll go Mavs 7.
This one's tough for me as well. A lot of the reasons you pointed out too. I like the Clippers' depth more, and I like their defense more too. I think Paul George, underrated defender as well. He can really be versatile as a defender. He's got the size, but he's also quick on his feet, and he's somebody that I think him and Kawhi can switch on and really not get tired. Well, I won't say that. They're going to get tired with Luka. Don't get me wrong. Like, he's a fucking beast. I don't know. It's just, to me, it's how much endurance does Luka and Kyrie have on this Mavs team? How much weight can they carry and really dig deep? It's really hard to play against Luka and what he's doing right now. But I don't know, man. Something about this Clippers team is telling me that they could make some upsets and runs. So I'll go Clippers in 7. Doug, the final. The final.
All right. Yeah, you guys put all the pressure on me, of course. This is like we said, I think this is probably the first round series that I'm most interested to see. It's got star power, it's got depth, it's got 2 good teams going at it. My one question is, who on the Clippers is matching with Kyrie?
Yeah,
Terrence Mann,
James
Russell, Russell Westbrook. Yeah, obviously you have Kawhi and Paul George, and they'll be switching off and guarding Luka. But Luka's gonna get his bag, I think, almost
regardless. Yeah.
So do you try Kawhi on Kyrie and just hope that he can stick with them? Maybe, but Kyrie's quicker. He's shifty. He got the moves. Oh, this is so tough, boys. This is tough. I think this one goes to 7. So let's just put that out there.
I think we are all in agreement that it goes to 7. I'd be shocked if it doesn't go to 7, if I'm being honest.
I think I'm going to go with the Mavs.
Oh, okay. I like it. I'm not just mad at it.
No, I wouldn't be mad. Because I honestly, coming into this, I hadn't decided who I thought was going to win that.
Yeah.
The one issue that I see is I don't see who can match up against Kyrie, and I think Luka's going to get his bag done anyway. So, I think it's a tough matchup, but I think also with Luka and him kind of building himself into being one of the best, or if not the best player in the NBA, this is one step forward.
Prove himself even more why he deserves the MVP this year, almost. Yeah. All right. Well, I like it. All right, let's go to Timberwolves, Suns. Suns are the favorite in this series, which is actually kind of crazy. But Timberwolves had a hell of a season. A lot of people, Kate, I know you got your credit for the Thunder. I got my credit for the T-Wolves, man. I know some people didn't really believe in this T-Wolves team. Anthony Edwards has been lights out. They've got a good team across the board, and what I like about this team is they have some underrated defenders. Jaden McDaniels, which I know there's some tweets going out around that, like how Jaden McDaniels can't guard KD, and there's some drama on that. But yeah, what do we think about this series? It's hard to believe in the Suns. I will say that.
Why don't you start this one since it's your team?
Oh, it's hard for me to believe in the Suns, especially after seeing what they did last year. It just felt like the shoulders rested on KD and Devin Booker, and we didn't see that endurance. Kind of how I was talking about the endurance on Kyrie and Luka this year, and seeing if they can carry that weight. I think the biggest factor in this is what Bradley Beal are we going to get? Can he contribute in a way that's meaningful and effective? And I also think something that's also going to help is, can they stop Anthony Edwards? Can they stop Karl Anthony Towns? I honestly, I know the Suns are the favorite, but I don't love the matchups either of these teams have defensively for each other. It just is kind of a weird mix. I mean, I think Karl Anthony Towns is I think he's going to dominate Nurkic, if I'm being honest.
Ooh.
And I don't like Nurkic. I'll be honest. I don't like his game a whole lot. And I also
he's pretty solid defensively, I think.
He's all right. He's all right. But do you think? I mean, Devin Booker, love the guy. Like, I think he's fun to watch. But is he really that elite defender? Can he stop Anthony Edwards? I don't think so, and I don't think Bradley Beal is at this age. So that scares me. But on the other side, who the hell is going to stop fucking KD and Devin Booker? I mean, I think Anthony Edwards maybe has a shot to slow down one of the two of Beal or Booker, but we'll see. But I don't know. I will go another 7-game series. I'll go T-Wolves.
I knew you were gonna choose the T-Wolves.
Oh, I almost clicked it.
Yeah, I know. You trying to lock that in.
Well, get out of
here. I do think there's a matchup problem for Ant, like people guarding Ant. That is.
No.
You're gonna have to reload, maybe. Yeah. So I think the Suns, really their defense comes on the interior with Nurkic and KD. I think Cat is gonna do well, but I wouldn't say. I think Nurkic can hold his own, against Cat. I think this one's more like star power versus a good all-around team.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go star power, and I'm going to go with the Suns. They can literally score all the time. And, even though I don't love choosing offensive teams, I just don't. I just can't choose against my boy KD.
One other thing, sorry, I meant to say this about the Suns. I also don't love their depth. We saw it really suffer last year. So go ahead, Cade.
That's true.
Don't want to take too much of the floor.
Suns in 6.
Suns in 6.
Here's my thoughts on this. Do you remember when the T-Wolves won their playing game and celebrated like they just won the NBA Finals?
Yeah.
This team is inexperienced in the playoffs, and Cat's coming back from an injury. Gobert he's good defensively, but I don't
forgot about Gobert.
As good as he
could
be a liability. It just feels like a KD's due. The Timberwolves to me feel like a Jazz team from 4 or 5 years ago, that 2019 Jazz team that was dominant regular season for the most part. They get in a challenging series and they fold. And I like Booker, and I think KD's due, and I don't think it's going to be that close, honestly. I think the Suns, I'm leading Suns 5, but I'll go up to Suns 6. I just think they're that.
Okay.
Yeah, Suns 6.
Make it easy for me.
Suns have beat the T-Wolves the last 2 games they played each other.
Okay.
So
I don't hate it. Like, I'm not like mad at it. Obviously, they're a favorite by the book for a reason, right? So Nuggets, Lakers. I don't like how this Lakers team looked tonight. Like, to me, they didn't look like a team that can stop this Nuggets team. Personally,
I think offensively they looked well, right? I mean, how many guys did they have hit double digits?
I'm not worried about their offense.
But defensively, I think, yeah.
And I definitely don't think I don't know.
No one's stopping Jokic.
Well, look, I mean, obviously different teams, right? But look at last year. Was there ever a point in that series last year? I mean, they got swept last year. There's never a point in that series where I really thought the Lakers had a shot. And I don't really see anything that's going to change that this year. Like what they got rid of Bruce Brown. I don't think that's going to fucking change my mind. I'm going Nuggets in 5. I'll give LeBron 1 game.
Yep. I have the same thought process as you. Nuggets in 5. They're just a faster team. They're a younger team.
Yep.
They bring more off their bench. D'Angelo Russell's been playing amazing the second half of the season. I just want to put that out there.
Yeah.
But today, LeBron got challenged by Zion for most of the game, and he got tired.
Definitely.
And you saw what happened at the end of the game. He airballed a 3, missed a layup, airballed another jumper that Anthony Davis bailed him out with that rebound and the foul.
He didn't look good at the end of the
his
game.
age caught up to him, and it's going to be hard to go against the physicality of the Nuggets. If the Lakers have a chance, it'd probably have to be in 7. So I don't know if they could even last that long.
I don't think they can last 7.
I just think the Nuggets are just a better team, better coached, definitely better coached. And so I got Nuggets in 5.
Uh-oh, Doug.
I was gonna go with the Nuggets. I might argue for Nuggets in 6, just because I think this Lakers team's a little bit better than the last Lakers team. I mean, obviously they got swept last time. Obviously, we're watching LeBron at the end of his career. All of us know that, and I want him to do at least a little bit. At least put up something that is respectable against what probably is the best team in the West.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, we're all going to be sad to watch him go, because greatness only lasts for so long. Look, he was I'm a Celtics fan, and I'm just saying, it's gonna, you're gonna be sad about it one day, Hunter. You will be.
I don't
it's
think
like
I
watching
will,
Tom Brady go.
Tom Brady was different. I never had the hatred that I had for Tom Brady.
I had hatred for Tom Brady.
Move on. What's up?
Nothing. I'm a little more merciful than you, it sounds like.
Celtics versus, I think we had the Heat here. Which is a tough first round matchup.
No.
I'm going Celts in 6. I think they've looked dominant all year long. And I think if there's a time that they do it, I think it's now. We got 2 Celtics fans. Come on, boys.
Well, it's not my favorite first round matchup by any means. I would rather play the 4 or the 5 seed instead of the Heat in the first round. I don't think the Heat have as much firepower off their bench and on their roster as they did last year and the year before. They're still the Heat. They're still Spoelstra. They're still Buckets. They're still Bam. I just think the Celtics starting 5 is just 5 all-star players. I think it's Celtics in 6. I think the Heat make it close. Probably snatch the first game, honestly. First or second game, put a little pressure. But I just think the Celtics are too talented overall.
Yeah, who's the Heat's rookie? Jaime Jaquez.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see him being that breakout player possibly for the Heat. I mean, he's been having a solid season all year long, but we'll see.
I like the Porzingis matchup though here. We didn't have Porzingis last year, and I think he's going to bring a different edge to this series than the one last year.
True, and you guys got Drew too.
I'll go Celtics in 5. I think they're just the better team. Honestly, the Celtics have looked dominant all season long. Even recently, they've looked pretty dominant. And the Heat, I mean, how'd they even get into the situation, right? They've kind of been just
they just suck in the regular season, bro. They're always 8.
I know.
We should just get used to this by now.
That's true. But don't say that. That makes me feel more nervous. I'm more nervous about
I won't talk about it anymore. We'll go to Cavs Magic. Another team that Cade called out at the beginning of the year as possibly being good this year, Magic.
I just like their defense. I think they're a group of guys that you don't know many names. Wagner, Banchero, they play awesome defense.
Young team too.
The Cavs, they started the year really hot. Donovan Mitchell, super hot to start the year. He slowed down a little bit. They were the 2 seed for a while, falling here to the 4. I think it's going to be a close series. I think both teams are going to have trouble really pulling away from each other. I think it's one of those series that goes to 7, but it's not like a super exciting 7. It's just low scoring battle games. I like the Magic here. I think I like their young core a little bit more. I love Donovan Mitchell, but I'm gonna go Magic in 7.
Yeah, I think this series goes to 7 as well. Which honestly makes it kind of fun and interesting to watch. Very young team from the Magic as well, so that will be fun to watch. I'll go Magic in 7 as well, but I do think Donovan Mitchell could pull that out if needed.
Yeah, I would have gone Cavs in 7. Yeah, I just think the experience there, and the Cavs have kind of struggled in the playoffs, and I think like this could possibly be the year where they break through finally. Which I mean, one round. I don't think they're getting past anything further than that, but could see them getting a playoff win. Magic it is, as the majority says. So we'll go to the Bucks Pacers. Another great matchup. One I'm actually looking forward to a lot. We saw the Pacers and their Magic in the in-season tournament. Can they continue that magic against this Bucks team that talent's there, but there's some weird things with this team. We've seen some weird coach changes in the middle of the year. We've seen some, not as good of a team as we maybe thought they were going to be. I don't know. There's just some underlying issues with this team that kind of scare me, and I think could result to a round 1 play or upset. But I will let you guys talk first.
I think the Bucks are they're missing their perimeter defender. They don't really have one as far as
Pat Bev, baby.
He doesn't get the minutes and he's old. So I'll still go with the Bucks just because they are the more talented team. But I'll go Bucks in 7. I think Pacers push it fully, but I could see an upset in which is there another coach firing if they lose this series? Probably, right?
Yeah, so here I think the Pacers, I just like the way they play. I kind of mentioned it earlier. We saw them, they can step up when the time matters. And I also like I don't know. I just like that they play team basketball. I think they're a team that can really expose a team like the Bucks who just feels discombobulated or disjointed, if you will. They don't feel like a team to me. They're not playing. I think Doc Rivers has low-key struggled a lot in the playoffs, and I don't know. We haven't really picked an upset so far. I like this Pacers team. I think they're a team that can do it. I think Halliburton can get really hot and could show a really good series. I don't think it's going to be like Pacers easily, but I think they could edge them out, and I'll go Pacers in 7.
Okay. Doc Rivers has done a terrible job stepping in and coaching this team, in my opinion. I think it was a horrible move, and he gets fired if they don't win this series, in my opinion. Yeah. He's lost the team, it seems like. Damian Lillard seems like he's disinterested in being there this season. He doesn't like Milwaukee as a town. He's stated that before. He wanted Miami. Giannis is hurt. If we haven't brought that point up yet, he might not play the first 4 games from what I'm hearing with his calf strain. So with all that in mind and the way the Pacers played the Bucks this season, they played them well. They won. I think they split, but they won the play-in tournament game. Halliburton's been struggling. I like the Pacers team too here in 6.
6. Okay. Do we want to go 6 or 7? Doug, you be that decider.
I'll go 7.
Okay. Pacers in 7. I like it. All right, going to the Knicks versus the Sixers. This could have potential for upsets as well. I like this Knicks team though.
I'm not a Knicks fan. I think Jalen Brunson's played really well this year, but I don't believe in the Knicks, I'll be honest. And I think Maxey did enough to hold the ship for the Sixers till Embiid is back. I like Embiid. I think Tobias Harris needs to step up and finally prove
True.
why he gets paid a lot of money to always
point.
slip under the radar. I don't like the Knicks teams. Julius Randle injured, even though it really hasn't affected them that much. DiVincenzo has been playing good, but I like the Sixers in 7 in this series.
Doug?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Sixers as well.
Ooh.
Sixers in like about 6, actually, I would say. And the point is, there's who's gonna guard Embiid.
Yep.
Literally, Embiid's gonna have a heyday, and
I don't think Randall can guard him.
No, Randall's like 6'9", 6'8". Look, I actually kind of like Randall as a player. I've liked him ever since he came out of college.
Kind of a baby back bitch, but yeah.
Hey, I don't care. I've liked him since he was in college, bro. That's been my guy.
Yeah.
But no, I think he's good, especially offensively. But defensively, there's no one there to stop Embiid, and the Sixers, I think, are also just
the better team overall.
The better team, yeah. And honestly, the Sixers might even be favored. Like, I know we had a 7 versus a 2, but the Sixers could be favored.
Yeah, I think the Knicks got a bad draw here. The reason why, I don't know, this Knicks team, the reason why I said I like this Knicks team is they surprised me this year, is what I mean by that. I don't think very many people expected them to be the 2 seed in the East. I think everyone writ whoever was not the 1 seed in the East between the Bucks and the Celtics to be. I think they thought it was Bucks Celtics no matter what, 1-2, right? So I think it was kind of a surprise a lot, and the Sixers obviously fell down because of Embiid being gone. My one concern is I know Embiid's been playing well since injury. I still worries me when somebody comes off of injury. You never know what percentage they're at. And he's very susceptible to get injured again. So that's my one concern with this. But I'm fine with Sixers in 7 or 6. So
the Knicks have been hot. I will say that on the Knicks, they've won 5 games in a row. So
all right, this brings us to our Western Conference semifinal. Thunder Mavs. What a series! We sticking with the young guns, or are we going with the Mavs? I think the Mavs will be tired from their last series. That Clippers, I think, will take a lot out of them. I think the Thunder will be riding high. They just got off their first series win. And I'm going to go with the Thunder in 6. I just think they're the better team from top to bottom. And where we had issues with guarding, I don't think they'll be able to necessarily stop Kyrie or Luka, but they'll be able to maintain them to a point where they can still groove on to the next round. So I got Thunder in 6.
Well, that'll be a very interesting matchup with Shea and Kyrie.
Yeah.
Do you want to go first, Caden, or
no? You can put pressure on me potentially, unless.
Yeah. So I think the Shea Kyrie matchup will be all important. Shea to me is just honestly the better player.
But you think they put SGA on him, or do you think they put J Will?
I think you put SGA. SGA is a great defender. Why do you not?
No, I think he's a good defender. I'm not saying he's not a good defender. I'm just Jalen Williams has also been playing good too. So I was just wondering because somebody's got to guard Luka too. So that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, Luka probably you're putting. I mean, Luka, honestly, you're just you're putting Giddey on him. I would assume.
You think they put Giddey on him?
I'm
saying Jalen Williams.
Oh, Jalen Williams. My bad. Jalen Williams. Yeah, my bad. They put Jalen Williams on. Okay. Yeah. No, I don't think you put. I think SGA is good enough to guard Kyrie. So
okay.
I wouldn't do that. Honestly, if I had to choose who's going to get the better of each other, I would say SGA is going to get the better of Kyrie. The one point is that I think it's time for Luka to show Luka magic, and so I'm going to go Mavs in 7.
Ooh. It's tough to go away from Luka. I will say that. But
it needs to happen, bro. He needs to have a run.
I think I wish MVP voting could kind of go to the postseason because I think the winner of this series could earn MVP if you could do it that way.
True.
Because I think these two are almost the two front runners. I love Jokic, but
Can't
I
forget
just
about
love
him,
both
bro.
their seasons. I think that the Thunder's inexperience gets to him a little bit. I think they're riding super high off that first series. They get into a Mavs team that just did play a tough series, but they're zoned into the playoffs now. Luka the Don is here to prove himself that he shouldn't be behind Shea in MVP voting, that he is the better player. I like the Mavs in 6, personally. I just don't think the Thunder are going to make that run to the Western Conference Finals. I like the Mavs as my dark horse team to make it there this season.
We'll go Mavs in 7 since I'm the decider, but I don't mind it. Like you guys said, it's really hard to put against Luka. I mean, he's just been hot. We'll see how much the Mavs can ride off of how hot he is, but Suns Nuggets.
Defending champs, I think the Nuggets are by far the way better team in this series. I honestly think this only goes 5.
Yeah.
Personally, their defense is good and they can keep pace offensively. Suns have no bench. Nuggets in 5. I think that's enough said.
Completely agree. I honestly, this might be a sweep. I don't like the Suns team, man.
Could be.
I just don't. I've never seen anything that tells me like they're going to like do things in the playoffs for me personally. So I got Nuggets in 4 or 5.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Nuggets.
Decider of the games here.
Yeah. I'm gonna go Nuggets in 4. Bring out the brooms.
Woo!
Bring out the brooms.
Bold takes.
They're just, I think, just by far the better team. Suns have no defense, and the Nuggets are just all around around stars. Yeah.
Well coached. I just love. What is there not to love about the Nuggets?
The other thing about the Nuggets, now that we've had them win in by 5 and in 4,
yeah,
they will be coming into that Western Conference Finals rested.
Yeah. Very. All right, going to Celtics Magic. I feel if I'm a Celtics fan, I got past that Heat game. I'm feeling much better about this series. That's all I've got to say.
Yep.
I got Celts in 5.
I bring out the brooms. I won't bring out the brooms. It's because last year the Magic swept the Celtics, and this year they won the first 2 games, and then the Celtics won the last 2. But playoff Celtics, after getting through that first one, I don't know if the Magic can't win more than 2. Celts in 5.
Okay, Celts in 5 it is. But what do you got, Dodge?
Bring out the brooms, baby. Celts in 4.
All right.
Just by far the better team, and it's we're talking about playoff experience too. It's not even close.
Yeah. This is an interesting matchup we made here. Pacers versus the Sixers in round 2. Cade, what are you thinking over there?
I like this Pacers team. I think they play fast. I don't like how Halliburton's been playing, though, the last couple of months. He's gone down almost like 6 points per game. He's just been in a really rough shooting form. I think if they beat the Bucks, though, they got momentum. But I don't know. I just think the Sixers are a better team overall. Once again, across the board, I think they're more talented, more experienced. And I'm going to go Sixers in 6.
Hard to go with the Pacers, in my opinion, for this game. I'll go with the Sixers in 6 as well. They're just the better team. I don't necessarily love that, we have, honestly, the Celtics Sixers in the Eastern Conference Finals, but because I don't necessarily think that the Sixers will get there, but obviously that's what we have. So, and I think I've also chosen them in every round. It's just they've kind of gotten off a little easier.
I just think their side of the bracket is also just easier, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah. I think Turner. I think can Turner possibly shut down Embiid? Obviously, he's not going to shut him down, but I mean, could he give him rough night here and there? Maybe.
Yeah, that's a fair point. All right. Well, Sixers, Celtics it is in the conference finals. I probably would have picked the Sixers as well for majority of the reasons you guys did too. I don't know. I don't know what Embiid we're gonna get. That's my one concern from the beginning since the Knicks series is I just don't know what Embiid we're gonna get. We get the Embiid that we know he's capable of. We get MVP Embiid. There's no doubt that I think the Sixers could get to the conference finals. But we see what the Sixers team is without Embiid and when Embiid's not himself, and it's complete opposite. I mean, it changed the entire scope of how the other team plays defense. I mean, and really the Sixers can't do a whole lot offensively. Obviously, they have Maxey and Tobias Harris, but to your point, Caden, Tobias Harris hasn't really been doing much.
No.
And he hasn't really since he's ever gotten there, in my opinion. At least to what I think they wanted him to be, right? And so I'm concerned in that aspect, but overall, I do think when the Sixers are on, they are one of the best teams in the East. So I'll go. I'll be in agreement with the Sixers. All right, we got up top Mavs, Nuggets. Are we riding with Luka?
No, I think for the point that I just talked about, we just had the Nuggets in 5 and then the Nuggets in 4. They're going to be nice and rested up. They got more depth. I think they're just the better team overall. I think Luka finally makes, like this will be again respectable push for Luka, but Jokic is still the dominant guy. Who will the And honestly, I think that's why, like, even though, like, we talk about, is it going to be Shea or Luka for the MVP? Like, you can't count out Jokic. Like, Jokic is just as deserving, in my opinion. Again, even though, like, this would just be another year of him getting it. But
yeah,
who would the Mavs have guarding Jokic?
Do they still have Maxi Kleber?
Yes, they have someone else too. Powell, right? Dwight Powell. He gone?
Yeah, they have Dwight Powell. He's a little. Yeah, they do have Dwight Powell. Yeah, probably Dwight Powell. Who's? I mean, he's solid. He's not like. Yeah, they have. Do they have Gafford? Yeah, they have Gafford.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. My guess is they'd probably have Gafford. But yeah, I think Jokic just dominates. They're rested. I don't see how the Mavs can do it. I'd say Nuggets in 6. Sorry, I haven't said in game yet, but
do you want me to go, Cade?
Yeah.
You want to be the last one?
No, go ahead.
I'm also gonna go with the Nuggets. Mm-hmm. I like the Mavs. I think they have a shot, and it wouldn't surprise me if they do make it to the finals. But for all the reasons we've already talked about, the Nuggets are just the better team. I'm honestly, from what I think is going to happen, I think we're going to have this Nuggets Celtics in the finals, and I'm a little worried for the Celtics. I'm not going to lie. I like the Nuggets. I think they haven't shown me anything that has changed in their team where I'm concerned about them this year. So I'm gonna go with the Nuggets in 6 as well.
Well, I'm glad you picked them because I probably would have if you didn't, but I really want to pick the Mavs because I just think Luka's been on a tear and they're my dark horse team.
I get it.
I feel like they could make it, if they're hot and they get to there, Luka could steal a game or two, put a little pressure on the Nuggets. Jokic just wants to go back and see his horses. He's a little tired. I'm just going to say Mavericks in 7 is my pick. I want to see Luka in a finals.
Like I said, don't worry, I'll clip it if you have the Mavs going to finals. Don't worry, I'll clip you, but let it be known, like, if it happens, it's a happy surprise. Like, I'm.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right, Celtics versus Sixers. Watch the Sixers not even get out of the play-in tournament, by the way.
That's
Celtics versus Sixers.
Yeah, I like the Celtics in 5. I just think we're way better than the Sixers, and we've owned them in the playoffs the last couple of years. We should have beat them in 5 last year, but James Harden became him for 2 games in the playoffs, hit 2 game winners or like game icing shots. They don't have Harden anymore. I think we're way better than them across the board and depth-wise. I got Celtics in 5.
Give me Celtics sweep.
Boys.
Doug, you talked about.
Celtics. Whoa! You chose it in 4.
Yeah, don't jinx us. You get that off.
I got Celtics in 6, so we'll split it. Cadence. I still think the Sixers are good,
Me too.
and I think the Celtics are obviously a better team, but this is where I start to get just a little nervous again, just because I'm always I'm a nervous Celtic fan. So, but I do think this is the finals.
Where do you think though? What's the path for the Sixers to get the finals? Like, how can they beat this Celtics team? Like, is there a way they can beat them?
If there's a bad shooting night for Tatum and Brown, which is not necessarily out of the question, if I'm being honest. I think that's really the only possibility.
Physicality, do you think, from the Sixers?
No. Maybe. I mean, Maxey and Embiid can be physical guys, but the Celtics are a better team. I'm just nervous because the Sixers are a good team. And if Embiid like we talked about, if Embiid is having a playoffs where Embiid's MVP Embiid, and we for some reason see Brown just not shoot the ball, yeah, and maybe Tatum has a couple bad nights. Suddenly, we're talking about Game 6, Game 7. Anything can happen. So, I'm a little nervous. I think the Celtics are a better team, though. I'm happy with the finals that we have. The Nuggets Celtics seem to me to be most reasonable.
I think Embiid's going to get his 35, 40 a game, right? But like we talked about earlier, you need other guys to step up. And Maxey, he'll do Maxey things. He'll probably get 30 a game. But you need Tobias Harris, in my opinion, to step up. It's time. He's due. You need your bench to come out, shoot well. It's just hard because they could be more physical. I'd say this is probably one of the least physical teams the Celtics have had. They don't have Marcus Smart or Grant Williams. Those guys were bruisers. They don't have them anymore. But Drew Holiday's there now, and he's one of the best defensive guards in the league. It's hard to see a path for them, but it's just going to be limiting Tatum, I think, and your bench has to play well. And those are tough tasks. So you almost have to play a near perfect series if you're the Sixers.
Which is hard. So, Nuggets Celtics is our finals, boys, which I actually feel pretty good about. I won't lie. Like, that's not like a, our March Madness where I was looking at like, what the fuck is happening here, boys. Nuggets Celtics. I think this is very, maybe cliche, but I think it makes sense. Where are we going here?
Why don't you go first as the non-Celtic
unbiased one? I kind of hinted at it earlier. Look, boys, I'd hate to hate on the Celtics, but I think the Nuggets are going to go back-to-back in 7. If you want me to elaborate more, I can.
Yeah, elaborate more.
Yeah.
What is there?
Don't get me wrong. I think this Celtics team has everything on the board. I think there's a year, we've been talking about this all the time, right? If there's a year that Celtics do it, it's this year. The one thing that the Celtics have struggled with in the past, and the one thing that still concerns me about this team, is it doesn't feel like there's that killer on the team. It doesn't feel like there's that guy when it comes to like putting your foot on the gas pedal. Like, we've seen glimpses of it with Tatum. We've seen glimpses of it with Brown. But we've never really seen somebody just like, I don't know. You know what I'm trying to get at? Like, really have that X factor. Really just be like, I'm fucking taking control. I'm doing this, and not just for this game, but for the fucking series. Like, I am that fucking guy. And sometimes I feel like you need that guy. The Nuggets have that guy with Jokic. I haven't seen that with the Celtics. And that concerns me sometimes. Because, don't get me wrong, team basketball, all for it. But there's always got to be that one guy that feels like that leader. And Tatum, when he's having an off night, this team feels, I don't know. It just scares me a little bit. That's my one issue. Again, there's a year they do it. It's this year. I could be fucking blowing smoke right now, saying absolute craziness in fucking 3 weeks. Could not age well. So we'll see.
All right. Caden, do you want to go?
Yeah, I'll go. I think this
Let
has
me
to be
dismantle this, man.
this has to be a prove it series for the Celtics and a prove it series for Brown and Tatum, because we saw what happened to them in the finals 2 years ago and how they kind of faltered under the pressure. Even though it looked like they had the series in control, all of a sudden they couldn't dribble the ball. They were shooting poorly. It all went to shit real fast. But I think the Celtics, they have the finals experience now. They learned what they needed to do and they built around it. They got Drew Holiday, who's a more solid defensive player, more experienced player than Smart was. And then they went and got Porzingis, some more size, some more shooting. And I think they built a roster that they needed 2 years ago. And I think they built a roster that can compete with the Nuggets. I think you have 5 All-Stars in your starting 5. And I think you have players on your bench that would start on 80% of other teams. Like Peyton Pritchard's been playing super solid to end the season. We'll see what kind of stuff he can give us in the playoffs. Sam Hauser, Brissett. And I think if this game goes to 7, the Nuggets win, just because I think they're more clutch. But I think the Celtics are just a little bit more talented, and I believe in them to win this in 6. So if they don't win in 6, they lose in 7.
Ooh. All right. Hunter, you had Nuggets in 7, is that right? I think this does go to game 7. Because I do think that I don't think there's going to be 7 games straight of like great shooting from our team, or at least from our top 2, Tatum and Brown. The one thing that I think is much better than 2 years ago is Drew is much better offensively than Smart. It's not even close. Like, Smart would shoot the worst threes known to man. He would airball them. He only shot like 38% from the field every year. And we have Derek White and Drew that shoot the ball like 40% from 3, or like they both can knock down when they're open. I think this is a tough matchup for both teams. I think it has to go to 7 for that reason. And I'm going to go with the Celtics. Big surprise. The Celtics fan go with the Celtics. But if there is going to be a year that the Celtics are going to win, it's going to be this season. They've looked like the better team throughout, like the best team throughout the year. And if there's one thing that I'm looking at here that gives me like the most hope for the Celtics being able to do this this season, they are 37-4 at home. They do not lose at home. And if they just win their home games, who's gonna have? Are they gonna have the
They would.
home?
Yeah, because they won more games overall.
If they just win their home games, that's all they need. And do I think that's necessarily gonna happen? Maybe not. But like, they just don't lose at home this season, and the Nuggets have lost double as many games. Obviously, 33-8. 33-8 at home is not bad from the Nuggets, but 37-4 is dominant, and I don't know if they can beat them in Boston. So,
I also think this has to be a statement for Jaylen Brown. He's been clowned the last couple years. For the finals, he couldn't dribble, he couldn't shoot. The dunk contest this year, like there's got to be a point in your career, like it's now, right? Like, got to put myself on the face. This is my team. They gave me this bag on this bag contract. I got to prove it why I deserve this bag, and I need to have that killer mentality that you were talking about. Like, I'm not going to be scared of the moment and pass to Tatum or pass someone else and let them have it. Like, this is my moment, and I'm going to go out and dominate like I can. And so I think he's the biggest X factor in the finals.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as I mentioned before, if the Celtics win, I've said this, I swear to God, about every game, so I apologize. But If the Celtics win, I won't be surprised. Like, I want them to win. I think they're the better team. I think you look at the actual best team in the playoffs, both on paper and both all year in the regular season. The Celtics have obviously been that team. They've been dominant all year long by a long stretch, really. It's not really close. It's just, can they put it together finally? Can they put all the pieces together? Can the coaching be top notch? I think I don't want to say he's been lucky, but I do think you look at this roster and it's hard to be a bad coach with this roster. It can happen. I mean, look at the fucking Bucks, right? So I'm not, you got to give them some sort of credit, but things have fallen apart in the past. I think they have learned from it, as you guys have mentioned, and this will be obviously their biggest test, as we would hope in the finals, right? But this is the ultimate test, and this is the testament. This will change, I think.
Can you beat Jokic?
Yes, this will change the trajectory of pretty much every player on this Celtics team. All 5 of them really. Can they still play? I mean, guy like Porzingis, can he be an asset? Even Drew Holiday, now he's a 2-time NBA champion. That's crazy, right? Like, he's a guy you want to go and get. Tatum and Brown, they finally did it together. It was worth spending the bag, right? Al Horford, another guy. Like, I think this will determine, and on the flip side too, we talked about legacies in the NFL, talk about legacies in the NBA, right? Like, what are the legacies if they lose? Brown's going to be clowned on again. Tatum doesn't have that it factor, so on and so forth. So I think this is the most important playoffs for the Celtics. Like, probably more than, I would say, even the last few years, because they've always been young, right? They've always been just almost there, but haven't gotten it. And if they can't get it done now, no one's ever going to believe in them.
Completely agree. This will be a fun. If we get these 2 teams in the finals, honestly,
this is the finals I want. Honestly,
this will be like one of the most interesting finals I think we've had.
Like, don't get me wrong,
most fun to watch.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. The Mavericks, I think that would be fun, but I do think the Celtics would just dominate a team like the Mavericks. And I think the Thunder, while it'd be fun to have a young team, I don't think they match up very well with the Celtics either. In terms of matchups, this is my favorite matchup. Nuggets, Celtics. That's what we want, and I think that's what we deserve as fans. So, all right, boys. Anything else on the bracket? No. All right. Well, appreciate you. That was a fun bracket again. Of course, we're gonna get every single round right. You know how we do it here. I'll be sure to submit this one. So. Oh, how many points will be scored in the game 1 of the NBA Finals for the tiebreaker? All right, boys. Anything else for the pod? Anything you want to bring up, just in general? Caitlin Clark went number 1 to the Indiana Fever yesterday, by the way.
Yep, $76,000 contract first year when she could have made $5 million in the Big 3.
That shit.
She could have made $5 million 1 year.
Yeah, but if it goes poorly, her brand is lower. Sure. Here's the thing: if the WNBA blows up, her next contract will not be $76,000.
Well, she's on a 4-year rookie deal, so she's gonna have to go 4 years.
The next one,
yeah, okay. Low. No, the Fever did sell out all their games though this year already.
There you go.
Yep.
WNBA on the up and up.
Yep.
All right. Anything else to talk about? No. All right.
Actually, I got one thing. I'm sorry. Now I just thought of it. Caitlin Clark. What do you think of all the women NBA players kind of shitting on her? Like, coming into the women NBA, like, they've been talking smack. Like, why don't you want her to help build up your league? I'm sorry, you haven't really been much without her. Now you got momentum. Like, build off it. Why are we being upset? Yeah,
they never got the credit they wanted, and this young gun is coming in, and she technically hasn't done anything in the WNBA yet, but she's already done more for women's college basketball than they ever did in their entire career.
So
that's why they're salty. So it's bullshit.
I'm going to go a little bit on the nicer side. Obviously, they were rooting for the opposite team. They're both rooting for UConn over Iowa. And Well, because that's the game we're talking about, right? Like where they had Diana Taurasi and Sue Bird on. Anyway,
Right.
so my point is like I think they. A lot of people are talking about Caitlin Clark already being the GOAT of the WNBA,
True.
and like that's
They
absolutely
feel disrespected.
Yeah.
yeah. It's not true yet, right? Like she might be the GOAT of college,
Yeah.
right? But she still has to do it in the WNBA. I think she'll do fine. You know, she's a really solid player. She's going to do a lot, and I think they just kind of got cut up in the moment of, and that's where some of these quotes come out. You know, where it's like
This is
poorly
fucked
described.
up, but like, imagine if Caitlin Clark is like a bust.
That would not be good. That would be not good. WNBA would not be on the up and up anymore.
Yeah.
Even though they still got other good players that went in the draft. You know.
Yeah. Players in the draft, and honestly, they've got some solid players in the last few years that have been fun to watch too. So.
Yep.
All right. Anything else? All right. Well, boys, as always, it was a pleasure. Caden, fix your editing. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I appreciate you boys always coming on, and yeah.
Thanks for having us, Hunter.
Thank you.
Road to 1,000, baby.
Boy.